Hello, everybody. This is Purge bringing you guys a replay commentary. It's been forever since I made one. Sorry about that. I'm going to be doing a Pudge solo mid game today. Now, if you guys don't know that much about Pudge, which would be crazy considering his overall popularity in Dota 2, the reality is that he is the most picked hero in the game, and he's always been top one or top two picks for almost all of Dota 2's history because of his cool hook skill. To my knowledge, he was maybe one of the first people to have a hook in all MOBAs. I'm not sure. I know there's a lot of other games that have mimicked the same sort of effect, but it's obviously very fun to play. My in-game name has been Pudge for a very long time as well. The reason I do this is because it is similar to Purge, but I don't want it to say Purge because then people recognize me slightly more, which I just do that way I can focus on playing Dota kind of a thing. Let's talk about the hero a bit. He's been mostly a support for a long time. His most famous pro usage was when Dendy played him mid at TI1. I think that's probably the most famous example of pros playing Pudge, other than maybe like GH dying like 7 times in 5 minutes that one game. I don't remember what TI that was or whatever, but or tournament. But Pudge is a fun hero. Very fun to play, a little bit skill-based because you have to land hooks, but it all just comes down to predicting where your opponents are going to be. And right now, Pudge got a recent rework where Flesh Heap's different. It doesn't give you magic resistance and strength bonus, and now it gives you health regen and strength bonus, which is kind of a nice change because what it does is it allows you to have to skill point into getting health regen early on to help offset the rot damage you're taking. Rather than having to buy items that give you regen to counteract the rot damage. So it gives you a potential with just levels. Basically, you can become more self-sufficient in your lane. The downside is that you don't have disgustingly high magic resistance late game, as high as you normally would because of the Flesh Heap change. So technically Flesh Heap is worse late game, but it's better early game. So that's the trade-off. So I saw somebody on the watch tab the other day playing Pudge mid, so I tried it out this game, and I'll tell you about how it works. So basically what you do is you skill into a lot of early points in Flesh Heap. That way you get health regen in your lane, and that with the use of tangos and other items that increase your resistances, it helps you get more longevity in your lane and stay alive. So it's pretty cool. His overall win rate is okay. At high MMRs, he's not super high win rate, for only 46%, which is not too surprising. I don't know if the change to his skills is a net nerf to the hero, but I would have to imagine that it probably is, although I think he's probably going to be better as a core now. Skill build wise, don't probably do stuff like this. You do usually get hook level 1 because it deals 150 pure damage. The cooldown's really long at 27 seconds, and Rot level 1 still does 30 damage, but the slow is really bad at 11%. So basically Rot doesn't give you this like guaranteed chase like it kind of used to before. So as a result, it's better to abuse hook damage at level 1, even though the cooldown's long. That way you can hook somebody out of position and then attack them a bunch. Pudge's base damage is really high as well, 56 to 65 without any additional items. His movement speed is atrociously low, and his armor is atrocious as well. His agi gain is also atrocious, so pretty much no matter what, your agi gain and your armor are going to be despicable unless you buy items to compensate, which is really important. But his attack point is okay. I think that's about alright. His BAT is normal, and yeah, good damage. So you have to abuse his good damage. In the mid lane, this can work really well because essentially you can abuse your high damage, you can abuse your very high starting strength and HP with a stout shield, and that'll help your HP go farther. But you have to be a little bit careful about rot trades because again it deals equal damage to you, other than the fact that you're going to have slightly higher magic resistance to having high strength. But the goal is basically to get lots of points of Flesh Heap early while still getting a hook and a rot, and then getting levels and other items that allow you to transition to typical Pudge stuff. So without going into too detail about the other stuff, just remember you're taking damage from rot, and Flesh Heap gives you regen now. Lots of common items that are good. Blink Dagger is super, super good. Aether Lens is also good. I never buy it myself. I always go Blink, but it has some very good appeal, including mana regen. Urn of Shadows is fantastic. It gives you 2 armor, mana regen, and more damage when you decide to go for kills. And then things like Pipe are probably mandatory now, just because of the fact that you don't get magic resistance from your Flesh Heap anymore, other than the fact that you're gaining strength, which gives you magic resistance. But I think that's maybe one reason they changed him, because when they put magic resistance into strength, it got a little bit too out of control. When they gave extra magic resistance to strength, because you could get so much strength on Pudge that if you also got magic resistance from your passive, it'd be a little broken. And also the way the math works is that the more separate sources of magic resistance that you stack on a hero, the benefits become higher and higher. We showed that in a Learn Dota episode recently. So if you have a flesh heap giving you magic resistance and like and a pipe, and the pipe gives a magic resistance aura, and you have magic resistance from your strength, it starts adding up to be multiplicatively, like your estimated health points becomes insane against magic damage sources. So I think it's probably for the best that they changed this, even though it was nice to get ultra tanky like him. So things like pipe and hood are pretty necessary right now. Bracers are also fantastic on any strength hero right now, especially if you're up against magic resistance. Like, it's basically better to buy bracers, to buy like 2 bracers early game than buy a hood in a lot of cases, because it gives you raw HP and it gives you 6% magic resistance for each, and that alone will stack up very nicely. So you could even do something like a bracer and a hood, would also be good on Pudge. Rod of Atos, Spirit Vessel is very good. Heart is kind of unnecessary, but it does increase your health regen by 50% extra, which is kind of nice too, because that means the regen that you're getting from Flesh Heap at level 4 is 12 HP per second. Heart would increase that by another 6. Not to mention you're also getting HP regen from the pipe, 8 from the regular item, and from the aura you're getting 3. So you're getting 11 health per second here. You're getting 12 here. That's 23, and that really becomes an extra 10, 11 or so, 11 and a half when having heart. So in some ways, heart is kind of good also. Hero advantages. You're good against Underlord, apparently. Not really sure why. Maybe hook him out of position and kill him. Save allies that are caught, that kind of a thing. His win percentages are really not that great, I must say. None of these are particularly amazing. Heroes you're bad against. There are plenty. Look at all these percentages. 8% against Lone Druid, because either the Lone Druid himself or his bear can Savage Roar you. Io can save people, or tether away if he gets hooked. Broodmother has spiders to block things. You can't get on top of Brood very easily unless you get a Blink Dagger. Chen has creeps to block. Death Prophet doesn't care that much if she gets hooked, because she can silence Pudge. If somebody else gets hooked, she can silence Pudge when he's ulting. She can use Spirit Siphon on him, and because he has so much raw HP, she'll heal more. Bat Rider probably doesn't care that much. He can use Flame Break to push Pudge away from somebody's rotting. You're not even good against Templar Assassin. You can kill his refraction charges, but she will deal so much physical damage and lower your armor that she'll kill you really fast anyways. So there's a lot of heroes that do minus armor or just raw physical damage that just have really big win rate advantages. Basically, anybody that does heavy physical, has minus armor, is going to be good against Pudge in a lot of cases. So he's up against the wall with not the best hero matchups. And by the way, I played Pudge 33 times. Not a huge amount. Always kind of stayed away from him, but definitely a big fan of him now. Let us hop into the game now. Let me remove this. Go into the Dota. Okay. Let's do it. Okay, so kind of just rambling there about various Pudge things that I haven't talked to too many people about expressly in one little video, and I'm sure that's the Dotabuff section is why you guys missed my replay commentaries, surely. But sorry I haven't made too many lately. Alright, so if I'm going Pudge mid, what I want to do is I want to give myself longevity in the lane, and I also want to transition into survivability items. That's going to make trading hits easier. And again, when you rot, you're dealing damage to yourself and your opponents. Right now my magic resistance is slightly higher than the typical because I have lots of strength, but I have almost no physical resistance. I have 0.4 armor, so something like a stout shield is mandatory when you're playing Pudge in any kind of a core role, and even in an offlane setting, it's probably really recommended, because if you do damage block, basically you're getting no damage reduction from the physical damage you take. So if you're able to block 20 damage, it's way more effective on a low armor hero like Pudge than it is for another person. So the reason I hooked in this moment and why I was playing around here is because I knew that we had a really good shot of being able to get the bounty rune. Because even if they end up staying in the lane, or even if they do try going for the bounty, especially if they weren't on the position already with 2 heroes, I had a good chance of being able to hook one out of position. So I committed a hook there. I lose a little bit of mana, but it's okay because I don't really need my first skill point too badly anyways. It would be kind of nice to have Flesh Heap maybe, because then I would have some extra health regeneration going on, but ultimately what I'm just trying to do is get as many last hits as possible. And against a Kunkka, this is actually okay, because I deal 65 damage now because I ate my Ironwood Branch. And he's going to deal probably something very similar. 55, it's actually way lower. Kunkka's been a more popular mid hero recently. We both have Quelling Blades though, so that means that it's going to be harder for me to deny his last hits. But we both have really, really high strength gains. He gets 3.3, I get 3.5, so we get about the same damage increase every single time that we level up. I went for that hook there because I wasn't going to be able to get the last hit otherwise. It's worth burning the mana because, again, I'm not going to hook or kill this guy. Neither one of us can kill each other very easily, basically. If you're wondering why it's very common to eat to plant your Ironwood branch down while eating your shared tango, it's because it helps your regen go a lot farther in the lane, basically. It doubles the duration of your tango, and usually, if you eat your first tango regular and then wait around for the next tango to come, it usually takes too long to get your second tango going. So it's usually better just to eat the Ironwood branch. And if you compare the costs, one tango is worth 30 gold, basically. So if I plant an Ironwood branch tree to be able to plant a tango, then I'm spending 50 gold for that tango instead of 30, which is an okay trade, basically, for elongating my other aspects. I'm basically spending 50 gold on regen for myself rather than spending 90. I knew he was going to torrent here because I saw his animation come out, and I knew that I was going to be able to get this before him. And then I also do some trading here if I can. Those are only level 1 rots, so I probably slowed him to about the movement speed that I was running. But either way, getting a DD here is really nice because now I should be able to get all the last hits and denies. I figured he was going to torrent for that one, which is why after getting the last hit, or rather after getting the deny, I ran to the left. I have to be pretty careful here now too. And the reason I walk back into the creep wave briefly is because I want to make sure I aggro all of them past. If I don't aggro them past, then they'll sit here hitting the tower, and then he'll be able to get a free deny. He still was able to get that one without any issue, but I'm also able to clean up these okay too. Just trying to get my items here. Okay, so for my first item, I picked up a fast bracer. Again, it's 6 damage, which is nice. I was considering doing some harass here. I thought he was quite stupid in that moment, I remember, because it was obvious that I was going to go for a hook, and he didn't end up dodging either to left or right. He actually just stood still, which was kind of a, it's possible mind game. Normally when you're pudge hooking and people know that you're about to hook, they're either going to dodge to the left or the right. So you usually just guess. You have to pick one or the other. That's why I hooked to the right, because I figured that was more likely he would run to the right, because he was slightly to the left on the lane. And when I'm also not doing anything, I'm also willing to walk into the creep wave and use Rod on him. I've now got 2 points in Flesh Heap. I got Flesh Heap at 2, so that I could have the 3 HP regen. Now I'm getting 6 HP regen per second. And because I have this hood, or sorry, because I have this bracer, I now have more magic resistance than him, unless he also has a bracer. I don't remember. He does not. He went bottle and a quelling. So the bracer gives me 6% more magic resistance. Now I'm up to 32%. I also bought a Ring of Protection. The reason I bought Ring of Protection is because I knew I needed armor in this lane, because Cleave now does physical damage, is one thing. And well, it's always done physical damage, but before it used to ignore armor. I was barely able to get this. I knew the rune was bottom, so I wanted to finish up the creep wave and then move if needed. And luckily my Warlock was check the rune for me after I asked, so that was very nice. So because the Tidebringer Cleave does physical damage that is checked by armor, I wanted to grab a Ring of Protection because it was going to make the amount of damage that he dealt to me quite a bit lower. 2 armor is going to increase my estimated hit points by 10%. So if I multiply my... I don't think that's exactly how you do the math. You take my raw HP, which is pretty significant right now, and if I multiply that by... or divide it by, I think, 26% or something like that. That'll tell you how much health I actually have, because that's how much damage it will take to kill me fully. So having 2 more armor is a big health increase, basically, against the Kunkka. It's better when I stand near the tower, because then I get plus 3 armor, or whatever. Is it 3? I think it's 3. Figured I was going to lose that one. I maybe should have hooked for that. But it's a lot more health, a lot more armor to stand near the tower. Yeah, 2 extra armor by the tower. But if I'm outside the tower, having extra armor will make a big difference. It'll mean that my regen goes farther, because every point of health that I get out of Flesh Heap, that moment I dodged his Tidebringer here. I'll always go for the range creep last hit if I can. What am I doing? 29 and 12. I'm winning the last hits. He's doing pretty fine, though. He should be doing better than this, I think. But basically, he can't harass me, is the whole point of my early items. I didn't get boots because boots don't really matter that much. I'm not really going to try for a kill here, because I know that he is... I don't think I was going to get that one in this moment. I'm just trying to increase my raw HP, my damage, my magic resistance, all that. And again, I'm happy to trade hits with them because I do know that I'm kicking up 9 HP per second, not to mention everything else. I'm surprised he didn't kill that range creep there. I'm just going to ulti him here because I get health regen from this. Surprisingly, they're all going to teleport. I don't have boots here, which is a little bit unfortunate, but I wanted to pull somebody into range of the tower. Which, looking back, It's probably the wrong move. And also, trying to rot kill myself was really difficult. He barely died there, I think, because the boat buff, I'm sure, hit him, which means it was going to reduce the amount of damage he took by half. And I think I saw his Stout Shield proc too. Either way, let's look at the fight recap. Oh, it only counted as him losing gold. Let's take a look at my net worth difference. I have quite a few more last hits than him now. I'm still significantly ahead, especially after getting some gold there. If I had Boots of Speed, I definitely wouldn't have died there, but... and I also bought a Windlace. I was a little unsure about going Tranquil Boots here. Almost always I go Tranquils on Pudge. But Phase Boots is really good now too, especially if you're playing like a core Pudge. Because Phase Boots now give armor and attack speed, which means that they will increase the amount of... I've got high base damage, so if I have attack speed, Phase Boots is really good. Because if I am attacking, I'm going to deal a lot more damage. And they also give me 5 armor, which is also incredible because I have so much health that the only place that I'm vulnerable is physical damage. At least in a big way. Again, whenever possible, I'm going to get in there and harass him. He's going to again go for the Torrent. I've also started skilling Rot now. I don't really need to level up Flesh Heap all the way, because I haven't actually gotten any Flesh Heap kills. I haven't been around any heroes dying yet. You could maybe criticize me for this, that I haven't moved around and gone for kills. But, because then I would get more health if I do get go for those kills, and I'm quite farmed, so probably would be good to do that. But I'm maxing out Rot now because I want to increase the damage that I deal in these trades. Also, the slow speed and stuff like that would also be helpful. I'll just go for an ulti here because he's got no creeps left and I will be able to deal the damage. Again, I'm just trying to harass him because doing so is going to force him to use regen items and gives me a little bit of regen as well. It's not bad. It's a very low cooldown ultimate. Wasn't able to catch him. And apparently rotting doesn't break your regen rune anymore, which is fine. You might be wondering, why do I have a Ring of Basilius? Again, I bought the Ring of Protection. A lot of times what I'll actually do on Pudge is I'll go for a buckler instead. It's about 800 gold and it gives you 7 armor. It's really value for the amount of armor you get if you compare it to a plate mail. A plate mail is 1400 gold and you get 10 armor. Obviously it upgrades into better items, but a buckler will give you super value armor for the buck. And when I've played core Pudge before, that's usually what I get. But my kind of thought was, I'm a big fan of Basey right now because a lot of people do buy Vlads already. So if one person has a Basilius, then you're getting 2 extra armor for you and your whole team, which is kind of significant. And it also gives me a little bit of mana regen in lane 2. 0.75 is not nothing. And I don't really want to buy a bottle. I'm kind of open to trading with him here, basically. I figured he was not going to defensively torrent here. You also might be wondering why I'm kind of moving up so aggressively all the time. And it's basically just because I can. I kind of want him to always think that I'm going to go on him, because sometimes stuff like this happens too, where supports will show up and think like, oh, surely I should gank, like, or surely I need to TP rotate. He's used his ultimate. They'll react to moments like that, and it'll just be good for me. But because the Venge is here, I'm just going to back up, block the creep wave again, let my Tranquil Boots kick in to pump up my health once more. Bounty runes are coming up. You could argue that I easily should have walked over to a bounty rune here or here to possibly help my team out with that. You know, in some ways Pudge is even better now because of the Tranquil's change. Now I can attack creeps even without... I can tap creeps even without losing my Tranquil Boost. Before you could only do Rot stands kind of a thing. Turn on Rot and stand there. They also saw me using this Invis rune. I now can see. I remember the Beastmaster ran away basically. We also had Avenge moving over too. There's no Kunkka mid either. I'm kind of looking at this guy. I think this is the one that I wanted to go for. Engaging on him here is a little weird, but... It's important that you don't ulti right away, by the way. I didn't really need to use my hook here either. I kind of wanted to try for this beast. I was very surprised he walked back into me. That was a big mistake for him, I think. I'm gonna die though. But ultimately, I think this is kind of okay. I got 2 kills. I forced teleports. Kunkka used his boat, and effectively, once we see the fight recap, we can see if it was really worth it. But I think it was. I also got 2 Flesh Heap stacks because 2 heroes died nearby me. No fight recap? No fight recap? Did I miss it? I don't think I did. Is it because I wasn't in free camera or something? I'm not sure. Anyways, 2 Flesh Heap stacks right now with 3 points in Flesh Heap is a total of 4 strength. Not a stupid amount, but it's something. I've also now maxed out Rot. More slow, more damage, all that good stuff. My current magic resistance is not bad either, 38%. Again, the 2 bracers kind of cover me easily. Each bracer costs about 500 gold, so I've spent about 1,000. And they don't give me as much magic resistance as a cloak does, most likely. But they definitely get me a decent bit of the way there. And I kind of just wanted to rush my Blink Dagger now anyways. I think my early items that I bought are pretty reasonable, basically. I've spent 500, about 500, about 500, about 500. In fact, exactly 500. And then another 500 on Tranquil. So this is about 2,000 gold worth of items past my boots of speed, which I would have. And my starting items. And these are all just like super safe to get, I think. Because now I just have stupid high HP. I have a little bit of armor. I was so sad when he denied that creep. I worked on that shit for so long. But I can stand here every time, and I just don't really care that much. He's able to one-shot the range creeps now, finally. Good for him. But I don't really take that much damage from the creeps. I'm offsetting it with the regen. I probably should have ganked a little bit more, though, I think. Just that being my first 2 kills is a little unnecessary, I think. But I'm up to 2,000 gold now, so very close to Blink Dagger. And I know that once I do get Blink Dagger, the person I want to gank is Arc Warden. I can see he's up here. Here's his items. I was looking at him. I saw he had Midas already, so that's definitely something to be worried about, that I need to go pressure that guy. Because if he just gets to AFK farm, he's going to get a little out of control. So it's very important that we try to kill him as much as possible. I was able to hit him in the hook. I know he's going to torrent me, so I didn't want to use ulti just yet. Now I can use it, though. He's already gone through it. You do get a little bit of lifesteal from ulti, by the way. And now, because Rot's level 4, I can actually just chase him down. Now, you don't really want to attack between Rots usually if you don't have enough movement slow or movement speed advantage. It's better for, but once I have 4 points in Rot and my movement slow is 32%, it's actually pretty straightforward. So I was able to get that kill, and now I can go back to base. I can get a Blink Dagger. I also bought a smoke because I plan to go gank the Arc Warden. I was going to approach like this, but I figured I should use the smoke after all. I thought maybe I could get close enough to just initiate, but because I had to walk past the creep wave, I thought smoke would be better. I'm going to wait to use Blink until I know that I'm within target range. You want to use it when I can finally see the guy. You don't want to hook right away either, because he might end up using a TP scroll, and that would be a way to interrupt the teleport scroll. He ends up popping his ultimate as well, which is good for me because I get more golden experience. So I got a lot of gold out of that. It says 381. I don't know if that takes into account his Tempest double dying or not, but it was a very, very good little fight for me. I used a blink there because the range creep was threw an attack at me, and it allowed me to dodge his attack. And as a result, my Tranquil Boots stayed on. And since I was missing quite a bit of health, I thought that was kind of important. Venge just reconnected. I don't know why he was having problems, but we were paused for quite a while for him. And then I did something a little bit sinful, you could argue. Oh, he had a ward, dude. He should have known. I saw his levels. I just kind of wanted to go on him. I maybe should have attacked him once first, but I'll kill his illusion as well, so I don't have to mess around with that. But basically, I'm just trying to dominate this top lane. I was not paying good attention to my map. Because I saw him on the map this time, but didn't realize it at the time. He uses some spells on me, but I really don't care. I just teleport out. I'm going to sell my Quelling Blade now, because I don't really need it that much anymore. And my Stout Shield as well. Still very useful, against creeps especially. But at this point in the game, it's I'm ready to start replacing items. And now I'm kind of thinking about what I want to buy. I was like, should I rush a Vlad's? I like Vlad's. It's usually common on tanky heroes, but on Pudge it just doesn't feel very valuable to rush it, really. It's just not good, right? Because I don't spend a ton of time attacking. Most of the time I'm using Dismember or Rot chasing. The armor increase is good, but it's so marginal. I'd get an extra, like, 2 armor from buying Vlad's. I don't think that would be very valuable. By the way, you can hook runes and get your mana back. I had a rune challenge, which is why I went for runes sometimes. I'm also waiting to see if he comes forward, because then I can go for a blink chase. Now, if I remember correctly, yeah, there was a ward here. So he every time that I'm moving into the jungle like this without a smoke, he's going to see me coming. So I'm kind of just looking around to see if I can find the Arc Warden, because he's not bottom. So I figured he's in the jungle somewhere. But he probably is. But he's probably leaving the jungle. Or, instead of what's happening is, they are looking for me in the jungle. And then I finally find him. So I went on. But in reality, I was the one being ganked here. So this is bad. I also don't have my teleport available, unfortunately. I was able to kill his Tempest double first, so I got a little gold out of it, but Obviously not good. And at this point I'm a little frustrated because almost all of my allies are playing down here, which isn't really the right place. It's kind of good that they're covering AM. That part's nice, but they more realistically should be playing up here. Did he misclick on a creep or something? I know there's a Fatal Bonds on at least one hero. Oh, that's good, he got a kill. This guy's owning, dude. So I'm up in 10 seconds. Definitely teleport to this lane if I can. Was a nice torrent. But because there's so many heroes here, it feels like I should. It's kind of sad that my AM left there. Because he did the boat. I was thinking about going more. I should have backed right away though, because now I put myself in a bad place. I didn't really realize that they would have so many heroes still be here, I guess. But I'm definitely taking a lot of damage. I just decided to ulti here because I'm going to be taking damage for a while anyway, so it was going to be hard to do a rot sacrifice. And I think if... Yeah, I won't be able to see the damage recap. They got a lot of gold and experience from that, so it was kind of bad, but they did do like 60% physical damage to me there. The armlet on Kunkka was with like the Beastmaster and ore and stuff. It's ended up being a lot of damage. So that was kind of a bad moment for me. I've got 4 deaths now, and that was like 2 deaths in a row upon rotation, basically. It's really hard for me to kill Kunkka at this point. He's got a lot more health than I can deal with, even though I deal pretty good magic damage. I'm also maxing out Hook now because I want the cooldown to go down. It goes down by 5 seconds per level, which is a ridiculous amount. The reason I'm TPing for this is because it should be easy. Don't want to waste ulti for this, because we got to see him coming. They did put a ward down. I guess that was pretty expected. I feel like I saw that because then I like walked over and then walked away. At this point I felt like they were really grouped, so what I wanted to do was blink low ground and land a hook. The way I should have probably done that instead, because I had to do 2 fast precision clicks and not miss. So what I probably should have done is like a shift Q to blink and then had my mouse ready over the Arc Warden. That way I could land a hook. Because I don't know if I clicked it in quite the right space. But if I would have hooked him down, it would have been good. Same thing basically trying to be done here. I'm trying to hook him out of a safety area when he's covered by his allies. If I catch him low ground, it's very different, right? We can jump on that guy and probably get a kill. At this point, I'm really directing my team to try to come top, because it'll help out. I'm gonna blink here, try to get the kill on this guy, just because it's worth golden experience. Looks like orange got it. Oh, that was me, nice. I think is that 240 gold? Really? Is it really worth that much? Oh, it is. Because he's level 2. 240 gold and experience. That's a lot. That is a lot of gold and experience, actually. Now we move to the top lane, pushing creeps out. Nick's in the right position as well. This is good. This is kind of what we should have been doing the last 10 minutes, but my team didn't really ever move there. It's me trying to draw circles. It's not always working. Hitting the tower a little bit. I'll take a little tower damage, don't really care. I lose a little movement speed, but it's fine. And now, that was a cancelled TP. He canceled or he teleported the wrong hero, so it's like Wolfman got the gold that time. That was 240. Now we kind of realize like, they're actually going to push way faster than us because they have like Beastmaster and Avenge. So this was kind of a bad trade. Although we do have AM pushing mid too. That might make it worthwhile. And here I am like trying to slowly kill a catapult. I should have probably just hooked it. Would have killed it faster with that. We saw this random Venno. He galed me, it really doesn't matter though. Not at all. And now that they already have a hero death, I wanted to TP, but it wasn't quite time just yet. I'm also trying to eat all of these Spark Wraiths, because I absolutely can. Better me than my teammates, because I have obscene regen. Oh, they have a Hawk here. I was wondering why the tower attacked me. That was weird. I'm just going to eat these again. I don't want anybody else to have to deal with them. This was a lot tankier than last time. Got another 250 gold. Should have anticipated that and prepped the hook. And I'm taking all this damage too, so I can't even use blink, unfortunately. I wanted to dive that guy, but I would get roared under tower. That'd be really bad. roared almost immediately. I'm just trying to maximize my damage here. It's really hard to kill a Kunkka through boat buff in most cases, so... Who was that died? Oh, that was the Nyx was up there. Maybe he blinked up? I'm like, yes, come. I should have hooked a little bit more left, because I kind of hooked over the cliff a little bit. If I would have hooked, like, in his walking position, I would have been more likely to catch him. And I've purchased a Lotus Orb for my first item. That was what I was building towards. So if you guys are wondering why I bought Lotus Orb, I usually don't rush this first as Pudge, but because I'm a core, I feel like I am relatively straightforward tanky already, and I have good levels, so I didn't go the experience gain talent, by the way. I did that to stack here. I like the rot damage usually because it increases your damage by a lot. Activated Lotus Orb now. He can't use any of his abilities on me because they would reflect. Basically gets me a very easy kill. I don't know if he knows that he can run away with his illusion or not. Maybe he's just frustrated or something and gives up, but Lotus Orb is very good against Venge. I would reflect his stun. I would counter his swap with another swap, so it basically means his swap does nothing. It also gives me 10 armor, which is good. Not as incredible as some other items, but good. The HP regen is a little bit unnecessary. The MP regen is nice. 4 mana is actually pretty solid, I think. In a lot of cases, Pudges would go for something like a Aether Lens instead. I kind of ditched my Nyx a little bit here. He did actually get hit by the boat buff, I see. I'm going to Lotus Orb him here. It's another really nice thing about the blink is that I'm doing this so that he doesn't cast any spells that fuck up the Nyx. I think Nyx is dead at this point, yeah. He got hooked back, and I'm just clearing the wave, that way I can start a push, basically, a little bit of free gold. The other mistake I made is that I wasn't in meat hook range as soon as the Nyx got X back. I should have been playing in range of his X spot, not in range of where the Nyx currently was, because he was going to get sent back. So I was a little bit late on my hook, which meant that he got hit by the boat buff and got an extra stun and wasn't able to run as quick. So that was mostly on me. Right now I'm thinking about items again. I think I did end up buying the Vlads now. Because I have 2,000 gold. No, I'm sorry, I bought Hood first. I was looking at my numbers and percentage damage taken, and I felt like I took a little bit too much damage in that mid-fight. So I saw one Bracer, and I replaced it with a Hood, which is going to be far better magic resistance. Now I'm up to 53%. I think before I was at like the high 30s, like 36, 38, something like that. Now I'm queuing up Pipe because the survivability will obviously be huge. Just hoping to guarantee that thing dies before it ends up despawning. Again, I got myself 240 experience in gold. Which is kind of crazy if you think about it. That's like a tome is like 500 increasing. Oh, 700, sorry. But it's like a fourth of a tome. I was looking for him to land a hook somewhere. I can dispel Gale here. That was very good. Don't know if we needed to Ravage there. Oh, he actually caught Beast too. That's really good. Had hook potential here. When Beast ran over there, it was over. I'm barely taking any damage from the Venom stuff. It's nice. It is very nice. I went back to defend because it's kind of a lot of creeps. Maybe I shouldn't have though. Not 100%. Maybe too excited about the gold in this case. And the other problem is that my team continued pushing. I actually think I shouldn't have. Looking at how many dead heroes there were, I probably shouldn't have gone back. Because I remember at this point, I'm looking at the map and thinking like, huh, why is my team still pushing? Once the fight started going bad, at least. I do this too often, for sure. Do they end up getting the tower? Actually, I don't even know if they do. Everyone's working like really hard. I could have at least stayed top and hit this tower until we got it and then backed with my team. That would have been the better move. Instead, it's our team pretty much fighting without having abilities, and I'm like, wow, why would they be there? But in reality, I just saw the creep wave and slightly felt like pushing out, and I ditched too early. I did get the pipe in the meantime, though. And I'm 700 gold towards my next item. My net worth is looking pretty solid. Of course. Magic resistance now up to 61%. Next item I could sell is Bracer. That's what I was thinking about here. I was thinking I need to get more armor now. Now that I've upped my magic resistance a bunch, I can sell the next Bracer, lose a little magic resistance, but buy another plate mill. And I was thinking about getting either probably a Shiva's was my thought, I think. If you're curious about my other talent, I exclusively go the lifesteal one. I never get the Rotslow personally. If I was playing more of a hard support role or a 4 role that wasn't scaling as well, I think I would probably prioritize Rotslow a bit more too. 12% is kind of a lot. If you're wondering why I went in right away, it's because the anti-mage was nearby, and I was pretty sure that he had Manta, so I basically, I knew that I could essentially be his Abyssal Blade. Anti-mage is really good with Abyssal Blade, obviously, so if I can do that for him, blink initiate, get an ulti off for 3 seconds, then anti-mage can Manta and attack, drain full mana, get it, go to ulti off. Pretty much. And it was also really important that I initiated before he gets the boat off. If he gets the boat off, then our damage gets reduced by a lot for a couple seconds, and that might make it really hard to score a kill. I don't know why I'm walking so far away. I should really be with my team. But I guess Tide's off pushing 2. Anti-mage does end up getting the tower, which is good. Don't really know what I'm doing now, though. Oh, that's right. I was trying to decide between my talents. I was like, I walked one for like at least 20 seconds thinking like, do I want the GPM? Do I want the cooldown? The cooldown's really good, honestly. It's really good. But 180 GPM at 27 minutes in the game is also really, really good. I'm going over here to try to save the Nyx Assassin. Trying to check my range to see if I need to land a hook. I was able to dispel Flux. That's another really good thing about the Lotus Orb. I was telling my team at this point just to get back because it's really dangerous. We basically engaged and retreated and engaged. They're all going to be there basically. It's kind of bonkers to continue fighting in this territory right now. And now because I'm pretty damn happy with my current survivability, I'm going to get a Vlad's, finish the Vlad's now. I wasn't 100% about buying this because I am close to out of item slots. I've got Vlad's here and then one other item to finish, and then I have to start replacing stuff. So it's really, I should have blinked right away. Luckily their boat didn't hit me, and a really nice force staff there. This is a really hard fight to take. They've already landed the boat. I just blinked away for a second. So I did not feel very good about. I hooked the Tide away at least. We only lost ultimates and the Warlock right now. And I'm looking at Tide, I'm like, alright, he's got blink. I'm sitting there like, this whole time he hasn't blinked yet. Oh, he's trying to buy, that's why. I see. That makes more sense now why he did that. It was crazy greedy, but... and now because I hooked him, I started running left to potentially split push if needed. Seeing the Kunkka there made me think that maybe their whole team was silly and ran across the map. But realistically, if I was like Arc Warden or something, he should have just like finished whatever fight was happening and then gone to the jungle. So now I'm going to do is hide in this little wedge. This is kind of like not a very good hiding spot, but if I kill this creep wave and people think I'm going to juke, they're going to probably try to lead me off by going over here, or they're going to go forward to see if I'm there. Most times they won't check the exact moment I was just standing, so I felt kind of safe to hide there. And this is usually what you want to do as like a ganker type hero, is you want to basically push out the creep wave, and then that opens up farm in a couple camps here. Helps a lot more if I have a ward in this area, because then it'd be easier to see if somebody's in the jungle, or easier to see if somebody's coming to gank me. But this part of the map is essentially going to be mine. I should have probably hooked this rune rather than walking all the way to it, because I would have been back to kill this camp anyways, and I would have saved myself time walking all the way there. I could have hooked and then gotten back to farming a little bit faster. I'm definitely a little bit aimless in my movements. Seeing AM die there, I just canceled. There's no point for me going anymore. He's already dead. And I'm looking at those beautiful Necros, which are worth a lot of gold. I don't know how long they'd been up, so I just went straight to try to kill them. Got 300 gold from that. Rod is like the best farming skill, man. It's so good. Like I'm pretty much counteracting the amount of health I'm losing. I have 50 HP per second. That's actually bonkers. And that's without my tranquils, I'd like to point out. Because I've got health regen here, 2.5. This is 6.5. This is 11. And I have 12 here. It's bonkers how much I'm getting. I don't know what my base regen is. Oh, it's 16.4 based on my strength. So that's kind of crazy good. I've got 33 strength from Flesh Heap, which is okay. It's definitely not my best, but it's pretty good. I was also discussing with Wolfman, who buys the Shivas. He actually bought the recipe first, but I think it's better if I have Shiva's Guard because I already do lifesteal from nuke, from spell damage. So if I get a Shiva's Guard, then I can heal from that. Also, reducing their attack speed is really good. They've got a Beastmaster aura, so having a Shiva's Guard on one of us is going to reduce their attack speed. And the other really nice thing, I don't really feel comfortable. If he kind of was approaching the wave like that as well, I kind of felt like there's a chance that a lot of heroes are there. Kind of reminding me of the early fight. I'll just stay hidden for a bit and see what happens, and then maybe kill the creep wave based on where I see the enemies. But the other nice thing is that having an AC on Tide is really good because it'll increase the damage as Anchor Smash does. And considering that his Anchor Smash does damage based on his primary attribute as well, it makes it appealing. I know he's actually net microing these for once. I didn't want to. This felt too obvious to me to approach this. Yeah, it did seem. Yeah, I did get ganked right after this. I got my Lotus Orb off in time. Luckily, he reflected that. Then we had this. This was very nice. Now I'm ulting. I lost that almost right away, unfortunately, but again, Lotus off the Gale. I had the dust ready. Did I catch him with it? I did actually. It's just he was juking. I didn't realize. I had to move to the side shop to put my dust in to use it, and by the time I did it, I just assumed he would be in the open, not in the trees. He ran a very good way. So I was able to stay alive during that fight. I think I missed the fight recap again, but I genuinely thought I was going to die no matter what, but I stayed alive for quite a long time. The boat definitely helps, though, because it reduces the spell lifesteal. Because if you deal less damage, you don't lifesteal as much, basically. But the Ravage there is pretty solid. Got 2 kills. At this point, I was trying to tell my team to push because we had kills for the first time in my life. I was like, maybe Roche. And I was like, nah, we should rush. We can do this in time. But everyone got here a little bit slow, and the downside is that they're actually not very highly leveled. Yeah, they respawned relatively fast. It took us a while to clean up everything too. So then we said Roche. I think Wolfman made this point saying they don't have a shrine. Let's just Roche, which is a really good point. Just sit here rotting. You know, if they had a Spirit Vessel, actually, I'm quite sure they could have killed me. They have an urn. He's queuing it up, but it's a little bit late. Maybe pipe first is a good idea, though, considering what they're up against. But they really need a Spirit Vessel. Even if they did have a Spirit Vessel, though, I could Lotus Orb it off. You could also make an argument that maybe I should have a BKB, but Lotus Orb kind of covers a lot of that. It's just a really good Lotus Orb game, honestly. Against Beastmaster War, against Venge stuff, against Flux, against Gale. Just remove a lot of annoying things. We smoked immediately afterwards. Going to be fishing for heroes. I think we stayed here a little too long, because at this point I said we've got Aegis, we should be pushing top. Caught Venno for free. Maybe didn't need to hook there. The buyback was nice. That was a little early too from him. Lost my opportunity to get gold. Going to get the bounty rune from a challenge. Nick's pushing out mid, which is great. It's like he's sending a hawk from mid to where we're standing. Yeah, it's like literally on top of us right now. So this one's kind of hard. I basically asked my allies, do we have awards or anything? They didn't. We weren't really expecting to get that pick necessarily, but whenever you're pushing high ground, it's pretty important usually that you have an observer ward, so you can see where your opponents are. It'll help me be able to hook them, for example. But instead, we're just gonna hit this tower. I don't know why that took so much damage all of a sudden. That's weird. Just my pipe here. It's late on my Lotus Orb. I could have removed the Flux and the Gale too. Wolfman lost his. I needed to hook so much earlier there. This is really bad. Everybody got boat buffed. I needed to ulti a little earlier. And I probably needed to ulti the Kunkka instead. I've also got Lotus Orb available. I don't know why I didn't use that more. So basically, we took a shit fight. The initiation was good. It caught a Venno, but Nyx maybe should have moved out of the way so that I could hook. I also should have hooked earlier. I could have nailed him, I think, but I waited too long, and by the time I did hook, I hooked AM out, which ruined AM's initiation too. Did he have Abyssal, by the way? He did, actually. I kind of fucked us too. We probably could have killed the Venno. I think he might have gone 4-staffed, now that I think about it. They don't have a 4-staff. He just walked away, I'm pretty sure. Unless we accidentally forced him or something. So I also ruined it, and then we also whiffed a Ravage. When you whiff like 3 initiations like that, you should... my brain was screaming, get back, basically. Because I missed my hook. I also hooked an AM who initiated away, and we whiffed Ravage. There's no fucking way we commit. But as soon as like the Infernal Golem hits, everyone's like, well... we can fight, right? And they got boat buff on everybody, which means that bursting them down is just simply not going to happen anyways, right? So it was kind of just a garbage fight. You could really tell. I wasn't doing much damage. My team wasn't doing much damage. It ended up not being very solid. Wolfman went for Ags this game, which was actually pretty good. He just got the minus Gush armor, so now he can do AoE 12 armor reduction, which is crazy good. And it increases the damage that his Anchor Smash does, which is also good. Naturally push out creep waves. We still had kind of ward problems. I don't know if this one was placed for Roche control or not, but we're really doing most of our wards in this area of the map, not where they're currently sitting. I blocked that spawn. I didn't want to take his ward, so I only hit it once, but also gave him Lotus Orb to remove the silence from himself to give him a better chance of living there. This kind of seemed like a fight. I lost my blink here. Just gonna ulti him to guarantee his death. Yeah, it's taken some doing though. I probably didn't need a Lotus Orb tied here. I was worried about him going invis, but luckily we were able to kill him. The fight just kind of went well. Then we smoked and our whole team ran at these Necros, which is a little bit unnecessary probably, but was also very nice. Because then we didn't have to deal with the Necros split pushing out. And I kind of want to just stay hidden here, since I'm invisible, since I'm smoked. I'm visible now, I guess, because the Tempest double reveals stuff. Remove the silence on our Nyx Assassin. I'm way too far up right now, though. Now I can ulti for heal at least. Luckily the swap didn't work. Then I got glimmered. And my team over here is actually fighting. But I'm sitting here like focusing on my health like, oh shit dude, am I alive? Looks like Wolfman's gonna die. No, everybody's just dead. I don't know how we won that fight. Let's go back and watch it. I'm kind of blown away. All I was focusing on was staying alive. So I think the mistake that I made was that I got a little bit too overeager here. I'm all full, we're doing some damage, I know we're hitting buildings, so I'm all happy and stuff. But without having Lotus Orb in this position, it was really dangerous. Wolfman lowered their damage by a lot, at least. With Anchor. I mean, he still has a lot of damage, though. I mean, I'm just getting right-click wrecked with Bloodthorn is the problem. Maybe this guy shouldn't have ran away quite as much. Yeah, they're kind of just cleaning everybody up, basically. Just anti-mage doing anti-mage things is what's happening here. Needs a bash. Okay, he got it. Okay, so that's what happened. Yep, that's pretty good stuff. They did have a Vlad's. It was on Beastmaster. And then we kind of all were just sitting around like, oh shit, they're all fucking dead. That's what I thought at least. I was like, wait, everyone's dead? I felt like we barely got out of the fight, it was time to retreat, and then I just look up, everyone's dead for forever. The Beastmaster just respawning maybe from before when I killed him. I also got the Flesh Heap stack strength. What that does is gives you an extra 2 strength per Flesh Heap that you've gained. So I got like 36 strength out of it. I'm up to 20% natural magic resistance for my strength. I'm at how much strength? 100 and... it's basically like almost 200 strength. You do get lifesteal from Dismember, by the way, and you get a damage increase, I think. Yeah, so for every point of strength you get 0.9 more damage to dismember. And the lifesteal you get... Oh, same amount you damage. Okay, that's really good. So basically, if I got myself an extra 36 strength here, I'm basically getting an extra 33 damage per second from dismember, which is okay, and I'm getting an extra 33 HP per second when I use it for 3 seconds. Now, if you go the other way, if you go dismember duration, which is also potentially a really good talent, if I go dismember duration instead, what that does is I can then ulti for 6 seconds instead of 3, and which is pretty broken too. Because if you're doing 6 seconds of ulti, then you're getting 6 seconds of heal instead of just 3, and you're disabling your opponent for longer. So I would say that if I'm going more of like a 4 or 5 support Pudge kind of a thing, and a 5 Blink Dagger, if I get a BKB and they don't have like BKB piercing stuff like Nether Swap or Roar, if they don't have those, and I can just like BKB ulti somebody for 6 seconds, that's really good. Is nearby me. Not sure if I should rot or not, but Bloodthorn, very good. Eventually does kill me. But we do get a building out of it, guys. Look at this. That's a dead effigy. I actually can't believe he's even playing up like this. I mean, there was a roar, so I guess he won't get roared, but... I do have kind of ridiculous armor, but... Still, it's still possible to kill me. Things like Bloodthorn increases their damage by a lot. Then they get our Warlock killed. He was able to reflect the X. But this guy's really hard to kill. His Venom just dies instead. He was able to reflect the stun. AIM kind of just won the game at this point. Like, they don't even have MKB, I don't think, so you can't even hit the AIM reliably is the problem. Like, he's got a Bloodthorn, but that's the only way this works. Is if he Bloodthorn hits this guy. And what is AIM doing? Just AIM stuff, man. So I bought back because I wanted to be there. And I'm there. It was a fun game though. So Pudge mid, get lots of Flesh Heap, and then you just kind of transition to normal Pudge stuff, looking for kills. Pushing lanes is super easy to do because of your ability to push waves, because of the amount of health regen that you have, and your sustain. My GPM was pretty damn good. 600 GPM for a Pudge I think is incredible, relatively. I did not have that many Flesh Heaps. I think I should have been in more fights most likely. I should have probably prepared for and shown up to more Bounty Rune fights. Definitely should have been at the 10-minute Bounty Rune. The 5-minute, I wouldn't have been level 6 at the time, so I don't know if it was that big of a deal to not be there in time. But I'm relatively pleased with my items. I knew that we wanted armor, because if they have like Avenge and a Beast, it's really important that you have aura items, because if you do take a 5v5 fight, your team is going to take way too much from stuff like all this Vlad's damage and all the Beastmaster attack speed. So then when I looked at Wolfman's items as well, I was just really pleased. I think he was right to get just a hood. He didn't necessarily need to do a full pipe when I already had one, even though it can work. You can, the barriers don't stack directly, but you can, once one goes away, you can use the other one. But we had AC armor, so we all had 5 armor. We also had 2 armor bonus from Greaves. The only thing we maybe could have had was like another Ring of Basilius to get 2 more armor. But basically, their ability to do damage was not that incredible. And even things like Kunkka's Cleave were not going to be that great either. I don't know how much... you can't look at damage after the fact, unfortunately. They scrub that data almost right away, I guess. But if I'm giving my whole team 4 armor, and Wolfman's giving everybody 2 armor from Greaves if they're not low, and 5 from this, all of a sudden everybody's sitting with... That's 11 armor. Everyone gets a free plate mail, basically, from us having just these 3 items. Not that they're not expensive, especially these is like 10,000 gold. That's most of his net worth. Half of his net worth. But it makes Kunkka's Cleave damage just a lot weaker. 10 armor is 50% estimated health points, so it takes 50% more damage for us to die against physical damage. So potentially that could be like a 33% damage reduction against Kunkka's splash stuff, basically. I don't know if they needed all these halberds. These are maybe a little bit unreasonable. I don't know why they had so many halberds. Status resistance, I guess. But it's not that much. It's only 14%. I don't know. The Kunkka seemed like he made okay plays, but Oh, and our damage received was awesome. Look at these numbers. We have 3 heroes that are in the 60th percentile for damage received. Even like Nyx Assassin is at 50% somehow. I don't know why. Maybe because we had so many aura items in the pipe and stuff that it ended up reducing almost all the damage they were dealing. But the Veno dealt 29,000, Kunkka did 37, Beastmaster did almost nothing damage-wise. I mean, they didn't set tempo very well. That was maybe one of the biggest lackings. Beastmaster didn't really scale super well, but I took almost 100,000 damage that game. I reduced 60% of it. Some of that was in deaths, of course, but some of that also was just tanking. I'm sure the heals from like Warlock helped a lot too. I'm sure there's a couple of those times where I barely lived to be a Warlock heal. So, I don't know, I had a lot of fun playing this game. Almost every Pudge game that I play, I have a really nice time, actually. So I should maybe play Pudge more. But I'm pretty happy with my performance. I had a couple moments where I made mistakes, but as a whole, happy. Okay, thanks everybody for watching. I know this is like my 4th Pudge video in like 3 months. But goddamn, I really love this hero, man. It's pretty fun. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. Have a good day. Goodbye.